Hello, viewer. Welcome to today's episode of Women's View. I'm your host, Anne Moremi, and it's a great pleasure to have you with us this morning. I know that we're having a lot of viewers today because a lot of people are working from home, and so this is an opportunity for you to get to be able to be with us more. Please interact with us on social media. Our handle on Facebook is GBS Kenya, and this show is live, so feel free to send in your questions, your contributions. We can also be able to send us an SMS. The number is 21144, and we're also on YouTube. The link will be up later, GBS TV Kenya. Subscribe and get to see what we've been talking about in the past. Thank you so much. With me in studio, I have a lady. We have been celebrating International Women's Day last week, and so we are focusing on women and the excellent work they do in society today. So I have a lady in studio, and I'd like to give her this opportunity to introduce herself. Thank you, Kari.
Thank you, Anne. It's such a great pleasure to be here with you. Hello, viewer. My name is Agnes Maina, or as Anne calls me, Agnes Kubo. I'm married. I am a pastor at Wisdom Sanctuary, and I am a mother of 2 children. 14 and turning 10 tomorrow. The second one is turning 10 tomorrow.
Wow, double digits,
Yes,
right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, it's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you,
And you know, right now the country is going through something very, very difficult, but we're praying that God will protect us all and give us a lot of wisdom and a lot of innovation to be able to know how to deal,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We are in times and seasons that we've not been here before.
Exactly.
But God is a God of all wisdom.
Yes.
And when we look up to Him, I know He's going to give direction. And we are praying. We are praying for our president. We are praying for all the healthcare workers, the CSAs, everyone who's involved in, giving us direction, because we need direction.
Yes.
We are born again.
Yes.
I'm born again, but we will use both God's wisdom and we'll take in what the Ministry of Health directs us.
Of course.
Yes.
That's
We will
true.
not be ignorant.
No. And we shall not be in contravention of government
Definitely.
policies, right?
That's why we are at least a meter apart.
I know, of course, we are a meter apart. We did not say hi to each other.
No,
as
we
much as we
didn't.
wanted to hug and kiss, we didn't,
No,
because
we didn't.
those are already guidelines
Yes,
that we have been given.
And it is
of course,
very
we sanitized, we've checked our temperature, you know?
Yes.
So,
And I like this place. We are actually taking everything that we've been told to do seriously.
Yes,
And it's good to protect ourselves, good to protect our fathers, our mothers, our children, because it's a ripple effect.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So thank you so much for that. So today we are going to be talking about releasing the goodness of a woman.
Yes.
So that topic is coming from a book that you have authored. But before we get into that, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Yeah,
Sure.
like you're a pastor,
Yes.
and I'm wondering, is that what you wanted to be when you were young? Where did you grow up?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I was born in County 001.
I hope every viewer knows what county that is. We shall not say which county that
we
is.
will
Do
not
your
say.
research. You have
we will
time.
wait for them to
Yes.
just find out what county that is.
Yes.
But I grew up in County 47. Okay.
Yes.
I grew up in a place we used to call LA, Langata.
Yes.
Most of my growing up was in Langata.
Okay.
Then we moved to Kileleshwa. Now, I never envisioned myself being a pastor
Okay.
or a pastor's wife.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a pastor by calling. Yeah. It's interesting. When I was in high school, and we went to the same high school,
Yes, we
Anna.
did. The Kenya High School.
Yeah,
Shout
the
out.
only school.
Yeah.
The only school. I was in CU. I got born again in 1993. Back in primary school, and but I was not grounded on the word.
Okay.
But when I went to Kenya High School, I was able to start understanding that I can read the word for myself. And I just loved God. I was just this young girl who loved the Lord, okay? And as I continued, searching for Him, one of the things I wanted to do was to be a backbencher.
Yes, of course, to just be on the receiving end
On
when
the
it came
receiving
to
end,
see you and
allow
chapel
others
activities.
to take,
Yes.
take the
Take the
show.
lead, yes.
But interestingly, we had one department called stewardesses in
I
chapel.
remember.
Yeah. And
Was that like
somehow-
ushers?
Yeah, they were
Yes.
like the ushers, yeah,
Yes,
the current day
okay.
ushers, but we were called stewardesses. I think that name was better.
Of course. And you know, it sounds more, proper.
Yeah, yeah. So we would be made, we actually, our seats were reserved for us at the front. So God literally took me out from the back bench
Yes.
to the front bench.
Yes.
And I kept on, resisting. Yeah. And now my now husband, he's a senior pastor of Wisdom Sanctuary, where we pastor, and we are in Thika.
Yes.
In Thika, our city. Shout out to Kiambu
I
County,
know,
County
right?
22.
I'm sure a lot of them are watching you right now.
So
that's
we're
awesome.
pastors at the Wisdom Sanctuary. There was a time he went for a mission, and I just finished my Form 4, so he invited me to go for a mission with him.
Okay.
And I had no intention of getting married to him. Let's make that clear from the onset.
But maybe he's the one who had those thoughts, and he was just playing it cool.
Well,
I don't
actually,
know.
they say everything begins with a conversation. Now, that's a story for another day, because we want to release the goodness of a woman.
We do,
okay.
we do.
So he invited me for a mission, and he was saying, we went to University of Nairobi.
Okay.
Those years, that was about 2001.
Okay.
And they were having a mission, and he was saying, I'll introduce you as one of the missioners. And I told him, me, I'm not a missioner. Me, I
Yes.
was just bringing you guys, do your thing. Me, I'll
Yeah.
just be praying in the background. And I was forced to sit at the front.
Again. Okay.
Yeah, but slowly by slowly, I started realizing that God is actually a God who takes us from where we are into where He wants to put us.
Yes, exactly. Because he has plans for us, right?
And He has awesome plans for
Yes,
us.
that's
But unless we accept He's calling us to our assignment,
Yes.
we will never be relevant in this generation.
And that's very unfortunate, because sometimes when people hear that about calling, there's this fear that the plans that you have for yourself, people think that those plans are better than the ones that God has for you. That's a misconception that makes you not want to heed His call.
Yes.
But actually the truth is, I like what you said, that His plans are awesome.
Yes.
And they are they're like your plans in a better, bigger,
Yes.
better way. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
Because He's already given you certain desires.
Yes.
It's not like He's going to like rubbish and put those aside. He's
No.
just going to fulfill them, and
Yes.
even in grander ways, in bigger ways than you thought, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things I have learned myself, and I've been in career for a while.
Yes.
Okay. I've been in career. My first training is in pharmacy. Then I did commerce, and currently I'm doing policy in health, because
Okay.
I've tried to get myself relevant in health.
And at
But
the same time, you're a pastor.
and I'm a pastor, yes.
Wow, look at all that.
And we'll
those,
talk about that,
you
because
know?
that is one of the key aspects about women and what God has put inside us.
Yes.
And it's not just women. God says He gives talents,
Yeah, He does.
different measure. But you see, just the same way we have the same number of muscles,
Yes.
our muscles don't look the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. So when we go back to assignment, God takes us, and every single step of the way that everything I've learned has become relevant to me in different dimensions.
Yes.
Okay. One of the key strengths that I have is in processes,
Okay.
establishing systems.
Yes.
All right. And that is key when in the church. We have to establish systems for the church.
I know, and that is so good to hear you talking about
Yes.
that, because a lot of times the church is seen to be as something that is not professional, that is so like spiritual and full of faith in a way that is not relevant to human behavior and human strategies. So when I hear you talk about processes and structures in the church, that is very encouraging, because it does bring in some professionalism.
Yes.
And you know what? The Bible says God is a God of order.
He's a God of order.
Order
And
comes through structures.
yes, and
through
God
process.
does not put aside
Yes.
the what we study in school. He uses it. He intertwines it with His word. Like, for example, now we are praying for the doctors. We are praying
Yes.
for the scientists.
Yes.
We are praying that they will come up with a cure. God would give
Yeah.
them wisdom.
You download the wisdom,
Yeah, from
know,
above.
for the vaccines
Yes,
and for the
that's
medicines.
where we become relevant as a church. We might not be the frontline healthcare workers providing or the frontline scientists doing it, but when we pray, there's a God to answer.
Yes, God answers
Yeah.
and He hears. And of course, He's divine, and even
Yes.
when it comes to wisdom,
Yes.
He is the wisdom that we seek and that we need, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's
That's
nothing
nice.
that ever goes to waste, and nothing, absolutely nothing goes to waste. Everything
Yeah.
has been a process. Now I look back to where I worked first. I worked at the Aga Khan, and I've been able to set up some things because of what I learned then. So it's a
Exactly.
ripple effect. Nothing ever goes to waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is going to be encourage our viewer to be able to feel, if you feel God is like leading you into a certain direction, don't be afraid to follow. And don't feel as though going that way will mean that you're starting afresh and losing out on everything that you've ever skilled for, because it will all come together for you.
Somehow he has this divine ability to tie in everything in our
Exactly.
lives,
Yes.
the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
And he says he turns all those things for our good.
Yeah.
Sometimes, actually, the word comfort in Matthew, when he talks about the Beatitudes, comfort is not just saying pole, pole, pole. It is actually the place where you are thrashed by the enemy. God assigns you as an heir there, so that you can command that area, that territory.
Exactly.
You know, God takes you there. If for example, you are bound in alcoholism and God delivers you from it, then you become an authority
in that area.
Yes. And you know, no one can doubt your testimony, and
Yes,
there's
that's
nothing
true.
as powerful as a testimony. So when you go into that area, you have authority to speak.
Exactly.
And that is
You
comfort.
understand, and that
Yes,
is comfort.
that is the
But you see, the
comfort he's
comfort is
talking
coming
about.
from a place of heart, but God has turned it around for
He's
your
turned
good
it around.
and for the good of others.
And that's why, Anne, you cannot walk around in this life being hurt forever. You have to let go, allow God to, you know, His Spirit to heal you, so that you can be a channel of healing and blessing to other people. When you get hurt, when you get offended, you block the flow of the Spirit of God.
Yeah.
And it cannot flow through you to other people.
Yeah.
When God does something for me, He has somebody else in mind.
Okay.
It's not just for
That is a
me.
very good and positive mindset.
Yes.
In terms of how do we view the difficulties that come our way and the negative ones like hurt, offense, disappointment. Don't get stuck there.
Don't get stuck.
Basically, what I'm hearing you saying is understand that this is a process. Actually, here we are again, process. It's a process you're going through, and the process is not ending at you being hurt.
Yes.
It's ending at you healing to be able to provide comfort and to be an authority, in that field.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
God doesn't want us to be stuck anywhere. That's why, as Christians, when we fall, we rise again.
Yes.
But you can't rise again if you're looking at the ashes. We never drive looking backwards.
No.
I know we have to check, you know, the rear view mirror at
Yes.
certain intervals so that we see what's happening behind us.
Yes.
But no one moves forward looking backwards.
Wow,
You
that's
have
true.
to move forward looking forward.
Yes, life is lived forward.
Yes.
Wow,
Definitely.
we've not even gotten to, and I'm already feeling that you're releasing your goodness. So, you know, one thing you've not even mentioned is that you're an author.
Yes.
And, you know, as you were doing business, as you were doing pharmacy, did you even imagine that you would be able to have, you know, written a book?
As I said, Anna, none of this was in my plans.
Yes.
Absolutely none of
Yes.
them. You know, but as you live life, you start realizing there's so much new, you can't keep it to yourself.
Exactly.
You know, the good news that God has given us is not for us to contain within ourselves. It's so good we have to tell
have to
somebody
share it.
about it,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
have to share the
So
good
this book, Releasing the Goodness of a Woman, is actually my first book. And I wrote it, it was triggered by a women's breakfast that I was invited to speak, not even in this country. I was in the US in the year 2010. Now, the year 2010 is a significant year for me because that is when my baby was born.
Okay, the one who's 10
The
tomorrow.
one who's 10 tomorrow.
Happy birthday in advance to your
Boaz.
son.
He's called Boaz.
yes.
So we were out in the US and it was in November, I remember, and we were at our mentor's church.
Okay.
My husband was ministering there. We just gone for a conference for Protege Weekend. Our mentor is called Dr. Mike Murdoch.
Okay.
So he's in Dallas, Texas, and we're out there. And after the ministry, we get a call. I remember we were at the parking, and we're just having a chat with my husband, and we get a call, and it's our mentor's PA, and he's saying, we have a women's breakfast on Saturday. It was on a Thursday, and we'd love for your wife to speak.
Wow.
My heart stopped for a minute.
I can imagine. I can imagine you're like, no, me, no, wrong number.
I was in a process of healing myself. Because the birth of our second born, our son, was not an easy birth. In fact, it premieres on this book.
Okay.
I went through a medical condition called preeclampsia, where your high blood pressure just goes, it shoots, And so it was an emergency admission. One night I'm sleeping and I can't sleep, and I'm, going to the loo and nothing is coming out. And I tell my husband, this doesn't sound right.
It feels completely
There's something wrong, and I
abnormal.
had something they call the epigastric pain around here. So I'm like, just let's go to hospital. And I remember that night he had slept late because we had visitors, and I was like, no, I'm tired. I want to go rest. Let's backtrack. And a week before, I was in the pharmacy where I was working, and I look at my feet, and I'm like, my feet are swollen.
Yeah.
Not happened before in our first pregnancy. In fact, my first book, I wanted to talk about divine pregnancy because our firstborn was just, smooth running.
No issues.
No issues, nothing, It
You're
was just
glowing and
tremendous.
looking fabulous.
Come the second one, I put my book aside and said,
God, yeah.
what?
This
I
is
need
a
to
whole new
rethink
story.
this theology.
Okay.
So we check into hospital, and they give me a shot of what they call ranitidine, because they thought it was, antacid. It's an antacid, yeah.
Okay.
So they thought it was acidity. And I was writhing in pain on the floor, holding my husband's legs. I was in severe pain.
Oh no.
And so they're looking for my gynae, my obs gynae, and they're, helter-skelter. And then, of course, I had an emergency admission, emergency cesarean.
Was that towards the end of the pregnancy?
No, we were 32 weeks.
Oh my. Okay.
We were 32 weeks. So when it just hit
Wow.
33, yeah, because they
So
told me
you
monitor my
actually-
pressure.
They delivered, which
They had, he was a prem. He was at
Yeah.
1.7 kgs. You look at him today, you would not think he was a prem.
Thank God. I know, he's so awesome
He's
and okay.
so out lively.
Oh my God,
and
and when you get
everything.
a prem and then of course underweight.
Underweight, and the funny thing is that the blood pressure didn't go off.
After the child came, oh no.
It didn't go off.
Persisted.
It persisted above the 6 weeks that, they say after 6 weeks it will go. Now, the thing is, the team that was taking care of me couldn't even get the right combination of drugs.
For you.
Because my blood pressure kept spiking. I had a second emergency admission with blood pressure spiking all the way to 200. I was going, and we would not be here today.
Yes, we would not. Oh my.
But through it, my husband gave me a book, Kenneth E. Hagin, a minister of faith.
Yes.
And he talked about how he had a condition, was it a lung condition that could not be healed, could not be treated. But he had to take in the word of God. And every time I swallowed a pill,
Yes.
I swallowed the word also. I would decree and declare life over myself.
Yes.
There's sometimes, Anne, your pastor can't pray for you.
I'm telling you.
There's a spot where your husband can't go beyond.
Yes.
It has to be about you and your God in the midnight hour.
Yes.
I
That's where
feel
you
like
are.
I'm preaching.
You are preaching. You are. That's what you do.
Yes, there's a point where it ceases to be who's around me and God, it's you that has to deal with
You
this
have to
issue
get
with
me
me.
out. Yeah, we're in this together.
We are in this together. I need to get out of this position. So one day I'm taking the baby for one of the checkups, and I meet.
And at the same time, you have a little one.
I have a little one. I couldn't breastfeed. Actually, he didn't breastfeed because I was pumped with different. They were trying different
the
combination of
medication.
drugs.
It would have been
to
harmful
just
to
be able
him.
to bring down my pressure. I actually say now, if you have a safe pregnancy, you got your baby, that's
Thank
a miracle.
God.
That's a miracle.
Don't take that
take
for
it lightly.
granted.
And many of us do.
Yeah, we do.
But the statistics are overwhelming of the number of women who die while giving birth.
That's true.
They're
That's
overwhelming.
True. Yeah.
So I'm here, and I meet one doctor, and he's like, "You look so sick." After the 6 weeks, I was still looking sick, and I'm like, "Doc, you have no idea
You have no idea what you're talking about.
what I've been through." And he's like, he stopped everyone. He was a close family friend. He stopped. He told his secretary, I need to listen to this girl. We went into his consultation room through his private entrance, sat down and told the secretary, "I can't see anyone. Let me listen to this girl."
Yeah.
So he listened to my story and he's like, why didn't you call me? And I'm like, oh, doc, could I even think?
I know. At that point, I was not even thinking, and
this is where medicine helps, because in as much as, yes, we have the word, sometimes God will walk you through a process again with a doctor, okay? So he comes in and he starts me on meds, and my blood pressure starts stabilizing. It starts coming down.
What is his profession? Was he an
He's a nephrologist, actually. He's actually he's a kidney doctor. He's Dr. M.S. Abdallah. He works in Aga Khan. Yeah, shout out to him.
Thank God that you guys.
Yeah, he's a renowned nephrologist. Yes, he actually just met me on the corridor taking my son to a pediatrician. I wasn't even going there for myself. No. You know, so yeah, so he gets the right combination, and you know when you're combining drugs, one time my heartbeat was too high, next time my heartbeat is too low. It affects other systems. Yes. So I started on these meds, and we started a journey. Then he moved off to Mombasa, and he told me, I'm gonna leave my patients with a certain doctor. And I was like, thought about it, and I asked God, who do I go? I want a Christian doctor who we can walk this journey with. So God directed me to another doctor, Dr. Wala. Jonathan Wala, another nephrologist.
Thank God.
And the first thing I told him, because we've interacted, remember I was in a hospital setup, and I told him, Dr. I want to be completely free of meds.
Yeah.
And he agreed with me on the basis of my faith.
Yes. Okay.
We didn't pull out the drugs immediately. We went through a process.
Yeah.
It actually took 3 years, 7 months, and 17 days for me to be totally off meds.
Such a long time because of
But
pregnancy.
I'm free.
Amen. Finally. Oh my God.
I've not taken one more pill, and we walked that process with a
fabulous.
doctor. Yes. And I thank God, my blood pressure, I used to declare what I want to see my blood pressure reading to be every single day. And you have to combine faith. Even when you go to a doctor, you better pray. Yes. Which doctor do I go to? Who can agree with me on the basis of my standing of my faith?
Yes.
Just don't go to any doctor. They're also human. They can do mistakes, but you ask God to guide them to the right things that you need to take up.
Exactly.
So that's where this was born, talking to women.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, talking to women in the US. And
so how did you do? You had to accept, right? Here you are, it's Thursday, the talk is on Saturday. You had no idea, you've not prepared for it?
No, I wasn't going to I was going to recover. I was
in a recovery mode.
Yeah, in November.
In November. Yeah. You had been healed.
No, I got healed 3 years later. It's in 2013 is when I stopped taking drugs.
You're right in the thick of things.
Yes.
And you still traveled. You are a mighty.
My husband felt, let's get off this environment. Yeah. Let's just go out, Yeah. And it was refreshing. Yeah. Only that now it birthed something else that was not in my program or my agenda.
Exactly.
But it was in God's agenda.
It was.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that is the book. So I don't know.
Here you are, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
2 days to prepare for the talk.
I'm like, hey, baby, you gotta help me this one. I wasn't coming to preach.
I was just like,
I was on holiday.
You're the one who's been invited me. I'm just going for fun to visit.
The thing is, we are soldiers in God's army.
Yeah, we are.
And soldiers have to be ready at every opportunity. You have to be prepared.
Yes.
In fact, that is the scouting
motto.
That's true. Yes, be prepared. And when I came back, I remember you were a ranger with me.
Yes,
remember?
I was a ranger.
Yeah, and every time God will put us in situations, because He says we have to be prepared in and out of season. Yeah, so that was being prepared out of season. But
so how was the breakfast?
It was amazing. We had an amazing time. We had women being restored, being healed. Because when you look at me, I look like this nice, cute little girl.
I know. A little you're like, what can this lady tell me? Really, she's so petite and pretty. She looks like her life is together and she doesn't even know what I'm going through. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I pick, it's interesting how God's presence changes you, gives you boldness.
Yes.
When I picked up the mic, I just started praying, and the presence of God fell in that meeting. I mean, women were set free.
Wow, good for you.
It was an amazing encounter. And so when I went to share the word, because I just had some few points, and I just had, when I was writing the book, was just expounding on those points. When I went to share, I mean, I got testimonies after that. You were speaking to me. You were talking to me. That was that was really amazing. And that's how God, He uses. He says in a big house there are many vessels.
Yes.
vessels of honor and dishonor. But if you purge yourself,
Yeah.
if you bring yourself to the point that God, you can use me at any time, He's gonna use you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
will. Actually, that's what he wants.
That's what He wants.
Vessels to use, right?
Yeah.
Because God is spirit, and so he has to use humans
Yeah.
to propel his agenda, his will. Right?
Actually, spirits have no legal right on earth, and that's a
They
whole they
don't,
don't have.
yeah.
That's why Jesus had to take the form of a man
exactly.
and come in. So you know, it's
I hope my
you're
viewer
moving
is
me
flowing
to.
with us. You know, now we've gone so spiritual. Guess what? We need to take a break.
Yes,
Keep
we
it here.
do.
Believe
Yes,
it or
we
not,
do.
we are going to get to the point of talking about releasing the
Yes,
goodness of
we
a woman.
will.
Already, I can already see that this is a process that you have gone through, releasing the goodness in you, despite the fact that you went through a very difficult process. You know, a lot of goodness has come out of that.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
viewer, keep it here. We shall be right back after the break. Hello, viewer.
The woman is burdened with so much, such that they don't have time for themselves.
If you don't go after what you want, there's going to be hurt, there's going to be disappointment, there's going to be regret, there's going to be let down.
I love people.
People will always have a view. They will always have an opinion.
Whether you like it or not.
It's always there.
People will put you in a shame box.
You have to love yourself first.
I'm not that person.
It should come from deep conviction, and I'm talking about conviction. I'm not talking about emotional giving.
Then that should pose a big problem.
A man won't handle that. They will just run.
Families break. Marriages don't exist anymore.
There's so many people out there pretending like they don't have the problem, pretending like their relationship is not on the rock.
What was that?
That's nonsense.
Get lost.
No. I think that is wrong.
Go ahead, tell me, I'm waiting.
Who questions you?
We're moving on swiftly.
Moving on swiftly, right?
It's pleasurable.
No one gets there without trials.
Yeah, you've got to.
It's the way life is.
Your greatest ability is possibility.
The youth, we need to change the way we approach issues. That the world out here is very harsh.
I was just waiting for things to happen in life, like finish school, then just go to career life.
Some people are depressed. You're not depressed because you have a problem. Some people are depressed because they're frustrated.
So we young people, in as much as we claim that we are denied opportunities of leadership, I think we also have to assert ourselves as leaders.
And one challenge that I keep telling the young people, it is the mindset.
Mind education is so important in many different ways.
When you go to the world, they don't ask you, are you Kikuyu or are you Luya? Hey, mimi ni Luya bwana, unajua huko Kakamega tunakulanga kuku. Now,
mapenzi imekuwa ikinisumbua. Nadhani dunia. Basi buda maji nimekuwa na heartbreak.
Oh no! This is Art Club, which comes to you every Wednesday and Thursday as from 8:30 to 9 p.m. Never miss. Never.
Oh no!
Nigga.
Elijah.
I'm a young baller.
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. Today we're talking about releasing the goodness of a woman. With me in studio is Agnes Maina, and she has authored a book that we're discussing. And yeah, keep it here. We're just about to get into the nitty-gritty. We've had a very interesting introduction about how the book came to be birthed in her and how she went through the process of actually writing it. And so so basically your ministry is to women, and it is basically encouraging women to step into their space, right? Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, Anne. Again, it's such a great joy to be with you. I think we're going to have a revival if we keep doing this, you know. And that's what the world needs. It needs the revival. It needs God to just come in and come through. Exactly. So releasing the goodness of a woman is basically a call. It's a rallying call for women to enter into the place of their assignment. When you enter into the place of your assignment, you're not in competition.
That's a very good point to belabor.
Yes.
Because women, we tend to be very competitive with each other, and we forget that everyone has their own assignment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not in competition with my husband. Number one, I'm not called to be the head, and I thank God I'm not the head.
Yes.
If you thought submission was hard, try being the one that God asks. Where were you?
I know when this happened. Try being the head.
Try being the head. You know, so I compliment. I come in to compliment. And submission, I like this phrase, and I posted it the other day on Facebook. It's not weakness.
Yes.
Because we look at submission and we think we are the underdog. No, we were not made from the soul.
No.
We were made from the side so that we could stand side by side. Okay? Yes. So submission is not weakness. It's merely strength under control.
Strength under control. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm strong, but I have to be stepped down.
I know. To be able to give another person who might actually even be weaker an opportunity to move forward.
Oh, yes. You know? So we are not called to compete, but to complement.
Yes.
And that's why we are more floral, we are more colorful. We are made to, we are here to color our world, different colors.
Yeah.
When we took the break and we're discussing something very profound, we are the church.
Yes.
But we cannot all be an eye.
Exactly.
We have different roles to play, we fit in differently. And each of us is fit nicely.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit.
It's a perfect fit.
If everybody gets into their assignment.
Yes.
You see, if you're, let's say, the finger and you want to be the nose, you can imagine the kind of confusion
exactly
that
you would
will
be
result
creating
in the body.
And you know, if your toe got hurt, you'd be limping today.
Pardon?
If you hurt your toe,
you'll be limping.
You'll be limping.
Exactly.
You're
even
walking
your little toe, when it's not there, it totally affects your balance.
Yes.
But a lot of times, you don't even think about it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the problem is that some of us, and I want to refer the talents in Matthew 25, 15 to 30. And that's one of the things that a nurturer does, because I talk about being a nurturer.
Yeah, basically you talk about one of the assignments of women is to be a nurturer.
Yes,
okay.
yes. One of the assignments is an incubator.
An incubator, yeah. You basically nurture something that grows.
You hide it, you know. You pray for it, and you take care of it until it comes to its full season.
And the it can be
anything.
Anything. Yeah, it can be many things.
It can be many things. It can be your children. You're a nurturer to your children.
Of course,
it can be a vision that your spouse has, a vision that your company has.
Yes.
You know, you can be a CEO somewhere, and you nurture that dream.
Exactly.
I mean, it can be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your household, where they want to go.
Exactly.
In fact, I nurtured my son until he wrote a book. So I'm not the only author. At 9 years old,
Look
he has a book.
that. Already you nurtured your child when they were born premature to where they are now.
Yes.
And then you nurtured him to be able to author
a book. Wow. And I'm told it started when he was in grade 3. He's now in grade 5. Wow. And once he released that book, his former teacher came to me and told me that, your son started talking about authoring a book in grade 3.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know.
Me, I just used to hear, Mama want to write a book.
Yeah.
Mama want to write a book. So
what did you do with that? What you're nurturing now is hearing that from your child and being able to guide them and make it happen.
And make it happen.
That's nurturing.
To the logical conclusion
of it. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So we're talking about Matthew 25, 15 to 30, the parable of the talents, where the master gave 10, 5, and 1 talents. And the problem with us as women, many times, we look at other women who are doing many things, not realizing that God could have given them the 10 talents.
Yes.
And we want to be them.
Yeah.
Instead of growing the one that we possibly have.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at us, yes, we have the same number of muscles, but our muscles don't look
They
the
don't
same.
look the same. Yeah.
Because possibly I went to gym today and you didn't.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So the shape, the
And you
size,
look at the muscle and you want the muscle.
Yeah.
But you've not put in the work.
and you don't want the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so many of us are, you want to be laid on hands and you're like, oh gosh, that anointing looks so good on her. I want it. You don't know where we've been through to get that
Get there.
anointing.
Because even look at you, the book that you've written, there's a journey
There was
behind
a journey
it. But people
behind
will
it.
just come and think you're an author.
Yeah.
I want to write.
Yes.
But you see, when you're writing and for your writing to be impactful,
Yes.
it has, when it's coming from a place of personal experience, it's more, it's deeper.
It's deeper.
People will connect
Actually,
with it
many people
more.
tell me they pick the book and they couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
Because of the presence of the Spirit of God.
Yes.
A place of pressing, because I talk about the pressing and how God brings you to a place of greatness from
Yeah,
that.
okay.
So yes, the natural. And so Anne, I was telling you at the break, you shine your shine.
You shine, you shine.
I shine my shine.
Exactly.
And none of us has to be in competition with each other. Girl, you surprised me. I never even thought you were programming. When you called me, I'm thinking, oh girl, okay, that is the 10th thing I don't know about you.
You know what I mean? You're not looking and thinking, now
No.
we should change
No,
roles. And
no,
I'm not looking at you
no.
and thinking that I must be an author, I must be
A pastor, I must
You
be
know,
a wife, I must be,
my skilling is different.
It's
The
different.
journey I've walked through is very different from yours.
Exactly.
But you shine, you shine.
Yes.
I shine, my shine. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So women, how we incubate, we have an eye for detail, and that's how we are wired.
Yes.
Men, most of the time, have an eye for vision.
Okay, okay.
So they're mostly vision casters.
Yes.
But the how to get there,
Yes. The journey.
the journey.
Here you are.
Yes.
You're at point A, you want to get to point Z.
Exactly.
But how do you?
Women help the man to get to point Z.
Yeah.
The eye for detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Your husband will come tomorrow and say, I want to build a house. And you're thinking, okay, let's go to the drawing board. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing God does with us.
Yes.
He shows us the end. Then he backtracks us and takes us to the beginning.
Yes.
And then we walk the journey. Okay.
A journey which he already knows. Basically, now he
Yes.
guides you through it.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, how are women nowadays, are they comfortable with being unnatural, or do they look down on it? Because, we must talk a little bit about feminism. And, of course, I am all for equal opportunities for women. But there seems to be sort of like some sort of competition of wanting either, I don't know, do your views contradict that?
Let me say this.
Have you got that question before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Let me say this, Anne. In as much as opportunities can be availed, women can do better what a man can do. That's the truth.
Amen.
That's the truth of the
Yes.
matter.
Okay.
But the point is, we don't have to fight about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to fight about it. As my belief, and this
Yes.
is my personal opinion, my belief is when you enter the place of your assignment, doors will open up for you.
You'll thrive there.
You will thrive there.
Yeah.
People will recommend you. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm never in competition with my husband.
Yeah.
Because I understand, as I submit to him, God honors all the other things that I'm doing,
All the
and they
desires of your heart,
flourish.
your plans.
And they flourish.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not as in clamoring, women's rights, and it's important that we get that opportunity, because yes, there've been women who've been trampled down, and we cannot overlook that fact.
That's true.
Yeah, the men who are just not good men, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
But anytime you have a genuine, is the only time you'll have a counterfeit.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can never have a counterfeit where there's no genuine.
That's true.
So there are men who are genuinely good. There are good men out there,
yes.
and we have to bring a balance. If of course you're in that relationship that your life is at threat, do the necessary. Get out.
Yes.
You know, go seek help, seek whatever
Because
you
how
need.
will you be able even to fulfill your assignments there
Exactly.
when you're
If-
battered?
yes,
It can't work.
you know. But again, we come back to God's word. And that is the philosophy of my life.
Yes.
What does God say about it?
Yes.
What does God say about us submitting to authority? Whether spiritual or government authority.
Yes.
Yeah. And he says we have to all submit.
Yeah.
And we pray for our leaders that we may live at peace.
Exactly.
If our leaders don't have that wisdom, we won't live at peace.
And I like that because it's getting me to the other points that you've written, which I thought was very interesting. The atmosphere determinant. Because you're basically saying that when you submit to authority, be it at home or at the workplace or in government, it is easier for the person in authority to
function
lead you.
in
And
the
that
office.
sounds a little like atmosphere determinant. Tell us a little bit about what is atmosphere determinant. That's what you say a woman is that.
Exactly. You can be my husband's best friend, but if I don't want you in my house, he will invite you and I will make it impossible
I know.
for you
All
to
of
be
a sudden,
there.
you're not going to be
yes.
served tea, or you'll be served tea that is not tasting well, or
the
dinner
cat
prepared.
will start screaming.
The house will be in a
and-
mess.
yes.
You know what I mean?
And, then,
therefore,
and we throw the plates. and
banging
men can't
and-
deal with drama.
and then washing dishes loudly, clinging and clanging, as the visitor is in the house.
We create the atmosphere in our homes.
Yes.
And when you see successful children, there's a successful woman behind them.
Okay.
A woman who allowed them to be nurtured in an atmosphere where they feel loved, where they feel that they can be themselves, you know, they can thrive in that atmosphere.
Yes.
Okay. Proverbs 21:9, it says, better to dwell in a corner
I know.
of the housetop
The rooftop.
than with a contentious
Where it's
woman.
raining, where the solar is so hot. I mean, that verse, honestly. Is it
It's
really
the
fair to
truth.
women, that verse?
Well,
you know?
well, you know,
And you know the way
women can
like
be drama
pausing.
queens.
I know.
That's the truth of the matter.
Yes.
And a man can't stand it.
Yeah.
And let me surprise you. One of the women who knew how to be an atmosphere determinant was this girl who took Samson in. Her name is Delilah.
Ah, surprise, eh?
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
To take a strong man and put him on your laps,
Yeah.
that's not, no mean feat is
It's
that.
not mean feat.
No.
And especially when people are after him, already he's so insecure and
Yes.
he's on fight mode.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So she was able to create an atmosphere that this guy could come and open up to her.
Yeah.
We can learn even from the bad.
Yeah. I mean, and now that you're talking about that, I'm actually thinking about other women in the Bible. Queen Esther.
Esther is another one,
I
definitely.
mean, moving into a very rough environment to bring about peace, you know.
And you know, one of the things about Esther that surprises me, she was able to hold on to
Yeah.
her issue.
Yeah.
You think it's easy? You have something that is gonna threaten your family, your descendants, and you hold to banquets?
Imagine before being creating an atmosphere of suspense and
yeah,
a chase for the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, what does she want? You know, the king must have been wondering, what does she want?
I know.
But there are a few things that we can learn from Esther quickly. That timing decides what you can get and what you can't get.
Yeah.
The timing of what you say, even when you speak to your spouse. I don't know why I'm into my marriages. I
You
don't
are.
know.
You're really focusing in that direction. And
But
it's
they're good
okay.
examples, you
They're
know.
good examples. And of course, I mean, it could even be your boss at
And
work.
you know, every truth is parallel.
Yes.
So whatever example we give, it can be used in every scenario.
Exactly. I get that. Yeah.
So what even, okay, let's use your boss. Whatever you can talk to your boss today and you think this is the best boss I have had.
Yeah.
And you can talk to him when he's in a state like, you know, things are not working and you ask him for a raise and he tells you, can you get off my face?
Get out of my office.
You
Like,
know?
how can you bring me such an issue now when you know what we're going through?
Now,
that's timing.
Timing is important. And what we have to understand is that everybody has a king and a fool in them.
Okay.
Whoever you speak to is the one that responds.
Okay.
And if I come to you in a very defensive thing, accusationally mode, accusation, bringing accusations to you, your first instinct, is to defend yourself.
And
So you'll be
retreat.
defensive. No, I didn't do it. No, you know, that's a natural instinct. But if I come to you, same issue, I tell you, Anne, could we sit down and talk? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and try to gauge, can I bring up this topic now or bring it later?
Is it the right time?
Is it the right time? So timing is key. And Esther understood that principle, and she was able to get what she needed from the king.
Yes.
Packaging is also key.
Okay.
Packaging. How do we package? Esther showed a lot of restraint. A lot of restraint. She didn't go to the king banging tables.
No.
Look at this Haman of Hamadatha.
Do you know what is happening to my people?
And we snap we
rolling the eyes and lifting the eyebrows. No.
Are you able to control your emotions?
A lot of times, no. Oh, were you asking me personally?
Actually, I'm asking, it's a rhetorical
and also, we're talking also
question.
even about ladies. A lot of times we get this feedback, even from the people like we're heading, that we're too emotional.
Yes.
That we get upset easily. You know, those that when you hear such comments, it basically answers your question. It says that women. The control factor, it's low, basically, you know, whether you want to blame it on hormones or whatever, you know.
And then we are very impulsive.
Yes.
We want everything to have an answer now.
Yes.
And one of the things we have to relax and realize, not everything needs a now answer. Some things can wait.
Yeah.
Number 3, Esther fasted and prayed. Spent time fasting and praying.
Yeah.
And I want to rally and call all women to fast and pray for this nation. We need God.
We need the prayers.
Like if there was a time we needed God, it's now.
It's now.
We really need. And you know, we are incubators, and we have God. God hears. I said when we began the program, if there's somebody to pray, there's a God to answer.
Exactly.
So we need the prayers. We need women to cry out to God and just release the goodness that way. And I said we might not be the frontline healthcare workers, but we don't need an overloaded healthcare system at this time. Doctors being overloaded because the epidemic is out of control, the pandemic is out of control and stuff like that. We need everybody to take their place.
That's right.
Okay? So yes, I mean, being able to control our emotions, being able to hold stuff first until it's the opportune time. Okay? And Galatians 5, I believe it's 20, it talks about, 19 talks about the works of the flesh being manifest. Contentions, you know, adultery, and fornications, and quarreling, and not being submissive, you know, just wanting your way. It's all about me, all about me. No, that's not what it is about. Contrast to that, Galatians 5:22, it says, but the fruit of the Spirit. Meaning, we can tell if you're having a dramatic day today or not.
Yeah. You can tell who is the leading.
Because
the spirit or the flesh.
Because those things, those works are manifest. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit, are you peaceable? Do you keep a record of wrong? Because if you keep a record of wrong, it will affect your atmosphere. It will. You'll be grumpy.
You'll determine a kind of, you will set the mood.
You will set the mood. You will be like, I don't want to talk to so-and-so because... And God doesn't call us to be those kind of women. He wants us to be, you know, love, joy. You enter a place and people light up. You know, suddenly they feel a burden was lifted and they're like, hey, what happened?
Relaxed.
You know, we carry God. We carry God's presence with us. And we need to be such women in our secret place that when we go to the public, something shifts.
Exactly. And allow me to interrupt you and ask you this. One of the things I find interesting is that for women, we learn this information when we are the age we're at now. Is this information that you are giving your daughter? Because I feel like the way we are raised, you know, you're raised to be different from the way you're expected to be in the home. And you know, where are we going wrong? Because you know, this information, it comes a bit late, in my opinion, because I wasn't taught these things when I was growing up. When I was growing up, the story was different, you know? It was make sure that you're the one leading, you're the go-getter, speak your mind, feel free to be yourself and everything. But now you see you're coming and you're talking about temperance and control and, you know, all these things that you sort of tend to hear once you start going for bridal showers, and yet you've been brought up in a different way. When should this information be released to women? Because it is so valuable when it comes to homes. when it comes to families, when it comes to workplace, politics.
Yeah.
It is so critical. Yeah.
You see, everything has to have a balance. Yeah. And it's not bad to speak your mind, but when do you speak it?
And how?
How do you speak it?
Yes.
All of us have an opinion
about
everything under the sun.
That's true.
If you have an opinion, I too have my own opinion.
And it could be contrary, different or similar, it's okay.
But we got to a place, the two of us, my husband and I, got to a place we don't have to agree to move on.
Yeah.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay.
And I think that's a place of maturity.
Yes.
And as you're asking Anne, we have to start talking to our daughters if we are not already doing that. And tell them, at the end of the day, actually, I believe our actions speak louder than our words.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes I like saying your actions are too loud, I can't hear what you're saying.
I know, right? Yeah, what you're saying is different from how you're acting.
Yeah, but you see, in our homes, we model it the way we speak to our husbands.
Yes.
We cannot speak down to our husbands because our daughters will pick it.
I know, right?
So we have to be careful when we are having our arguments. Let's take them away from them. If we cannot, you can have those arguments until you come like, okay, fine. And that was our earlier years. By the way, I'm talking about marriage because we have learned
and I'm telling
many
you what,
things.
You need to start giving your parting shots, and you must tell me when you're coming back, because I feel like this is just really the top. There's so much
under the surface.
There's so much.
Yeah, we'll come and talk about marriage because we had crazy stuff.
So relevant in our generation. When we look at the things that are happening, there's so much of what you're saying that is needed. Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
So please give your parting shot, and then we have to wrap up the show.
All right. Thank you, Vio, for joining us today. I believe as you're out there in this age and era where there's so many things, hitting us left, right, and center, my parting shot is this: let God be your anchor. Psalms 91 says that he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High God shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of my God, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Then it goes down and says, 1,000 would fall on his side, 10,000 shall fall on his right hand, but it shall not come nigh his dwelling place. I pray that we will all take our roles, release our goodness in the various sectors that we are in. If it's in prayer, if you're on the first line, in the front line, just know that there are women out there, men and women out there praying for you. If you're in government, we want to uphold you in such a tough situation, not just for Kenya, but the whole world over. We want to assure you that there are people praying. I'm there praying. Let me just aside myself. I'm there praying. Sometimes we say that we are praying for you and we actually aren't.
Yes.
But I'm there praying. I want to stand in the gap for you in whatever area of decision making you are in. I'm there praying for you. And I pray that there would be others rallied to enter into the place of assignment, because once we do, we understand that we make things easier for everybody else. So God bless you. Until next time.
Wow. Thank you so much. Please let us know where we can find your books.
Oh, sure.
And how we can get in touch with you, because this is the kind of woman that you want to come and speak to your girls, speak to your daughters, speak to your women.
Amen.
Because what she's saying, it's very, very, it's life-changing, and it is critical. It's what we need to hear right now. I know you wrote this book in 2010,
yes,
which
I
is 10
did.
years ago.
10 years
and
back.
I'm just busy wondering, where has it been? All these 10 years, where haven't we been, hasn't it been sold out?
Oh, okay. Thank God for publishers and printers, because you can get more. So you can find me, our website is www.wisdomsanctuary.org. The phone number that you can get me through to me is 0722 337 422. That is our church line. Our church is Wisdom Sanctuary, Thika. If you're around Thika, we invite you. We're at Nellion Center, 3rd floor, every Sunday. But now, because of the government restrictions, we will be doing, Facebook Live. You can find me on Facebook. My names are Agnes Kuvuna Kubo Maina.
Excellent. There you have it. I definitely recommend this lady, Agnes Minor, what she's talking about, those nuggets of wisdom. No wonder you're called Wisdom Sanctuary, because what you're giving is wisdom. Wisdom. And you know what? It's never too late to get wisdom.
Yeah.
At whatever point that you're at, it's never too late to do a U-turn, you know, to be able to know how to release the goodness of a woman. You know, you may be looking at yourself and thinking, maybe judging yourself or feeling that you're not good enough or anything, but inside you there's goodness that can be released.
Yes,
and there's a way to do it. Yes. And of course, goodness comes from God. So it's really a lot about connecting with Him and then allowing His goodness to flow out of you. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Thanks.